Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. So today is going to be Volume 3 of the Patreon questions, and I think this is the last one. If you added one after the last question, we'll try to pick it up, and if we missed yours somehow, I'm sorry, but we will continue to look. All right. Belle, I work for a government agency that helps those in need and have seen a lot of talented people who love the service aspect of their job, but eventually fell victim to compassion fatigue or lose the element of doing the job in order to help people, which eventually leads to higher attrition. Others have talked about compassion fatigue in general, so my question is, how do you make choices in your career that allow you to make changes which are big enough to matter but small enough to win? You either have to work to get to a place where you can start making policy or where you can advise the policy makers. That's really the best start. And get briefings. Get good at briefings. What difference between you and Bo should we know? Do you want us to know? Is one of you more practical or idealistic? Is one of you better at making predictions? Is one of you more social than the other? Yes, to all of those. No, I am more social and I talk a lot more and I talk a lot faster. I like my information more succinctly. He has just an amazing memory, and with certain things. You can ask him, like his birthday, and he may struggle for a minute, but you ask him some weird, obscure fact, and he can rattle off, like, all this stuff at just right off the top of his head. So, and as far as predictions, we both have our fields. I sometimes wishcast what I want to happen in my assessment and treat it like it's what most likely will happen because I want it to be. He always assumes that people will act logically, and they usually don't. But yeah. My question is for Belle. Does Bo still leave his coffee cups around with a couple of sips left, saving them for later? He does not. Well, not as often. When we swapped places and roles and responsibilities changed, it was all the way around. So he does a lot more picking up now. And he's also just more aware and more present. So not as much. Are you a morning person or a night owl? I am a morning person. Definitely a morning person. Definitely. What can we do to keep up spirits when the far ends of both the right and the left are dooming and glooming, especially the left? We get a more progressive VP pick, and the far left is still deep frowning and calling for more moderate leftists dumb for being hopeful. It's deflating. Remember the bus analogy. We don't all have to ride all the way together, and we can get on and off at different stops. Don't let them bring you down. Question for Miss Belle. How does your nursing perspective inform how you see the world? Do you think that because you see people during their worst times that you have to balance that perspective, or do palate cleansing? Nursing helps in the way of there's always multiple ways a development can go. And so the key is to be patient, pay attention, and watch what's developing in front of you, and then try to anticipate what you can do about it or what is next. So if this, then that. If that, then we can go this or this way. It applies to so many things in life. Just saw you mention you had multiple DD214s. I was just interested, and if you're comfortable, would be cool if you could shed some light on it. Also, regarding services, it seems to me as a Brit that Americans in the military tend to serve enlisted before becoming officers way more than over here. I think that happens at a higher rate because here we have less of a class holdover, but there's also so many troops, so it's just more noticeable. At least that might be why you see it that way, or why you see more of it. Question for Belle. If you're comfortable answering, how will the change affect the available time for family activities? You all seem used to incredibly busy lifestyles. Is there or will there be time for more relaxed dinners, side-by-side reading, weekend excursions, etc.? Or have such activities been part of your busy schedules? Yes, we are incredibly busy, always. We're on the go. We have a large family. We're moving from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. That being said, we always eat at least one meal together as a family. And Bo and I spend a lot of time in the evening on the porch after everything settles for a while. So, and no devices, no TV in the background, no distractions, just this goes for dinner and on the porch. And we just actually talk to each other and touch base. The difference is now he is much more present and is not as distracted, and I don't see his mind wandering off like, did you just hear what I said? So yes. Question for Belle. How many loads of laundry does it take to wash all the t-shirts he wears? I have no idea. I have no earthly clue. The shirts never get washed all at once. Like he would bring me a load and it would get done. And when you're doing loads of laundry for the size of my family, it just all blends. It's just never ending. Can you keep us up to date on what Bo does next once he's taken time to recover? Probably. Again, he's not making any plans other than he is going to learn how to shave a horse this week. He doesn't know that's planned, but he's going to. So, but yes, I'll keep you informed. Question for Belle. Can we get a glimpse into what makes you you? What kind of things energize you, get you excited to be alive? Obviously the horses. I think everybody can see that. That's my big hobby. So there's just something about these huge, beautiful creatures. They're amazing. And I also like scary movies. So, sorry. Would you mind covering the disagreement on Tim Wall's military service record and his retirement? I'm not entirely sure how to respond to friends who are claiming he dodged deployment with an early deployment or early retirement, and that he didn't do it correctly. Would you mind elaborating if possible? Yes, I actually have 3 videos on the other channel about Walls and his record. I highly recommend those. Question for Belle. Are you also a coffee drinker? No. Not the way Bo is, for sure. If I drink coffee, there's a reason. I do drink tea, and cold in the summer and hot in the winter. And we both have high caffeine intakes, just not in the same way. Another question is whether the benefit streams might be added to based on the team's interest. That gets into one of those things we've talked about, but haven't decided on yet. Right now, we know we're still doing the shelter drive and the disaster relief and the unions, the union strikes. But beyond that, we're still working on it. We don't know at this time. Belle had mentioned maybe getting a patch that was more her vibe, and I'm dying to know what she's considered. I have a couple of things in mind, but I'm trying to find the perfect one, and it's proving harder than I thought. So I don't want to tell you yet until I find one. I'm sorry to hold the suspense. As a question for Miss Bell, favorite books or movies, pet peeves besides Bo leaving coffee mugs everywhere? I like all scary movies, even those made in Southern California for about $50. I don't, pet peeves kind of depends on the day. Some days things annoy me that they don't annoy me on other days. As far as Bo, I chose all of his things, so I knew I wanted to be with him, and you've been together so long you overlook stuff. So I don't really have any left with him. So a question for Miss Bell, is the intention to still go on the road with link ups and shout outs to various communities and groups that serve them? Not sure yet. The changeover happened 3 weeks ago, and we've been primarily focused on making sure the content is good and getting that routine down. I think it's getting better, and we're definitely working hard at it. I hope you guys feel the same and can see that. Are there any plans to get active on some Fediverse platforms? We haven't looked at any social media platforms at this time. That's kind of down on the list. I want to know how you avoid the temptation of clickbait to get more viewers. I've come to expect calm, rational commentary from your channel, and I need it to continue. But do new viewers get bored without the sensationalism and emotional manipulation of other news commentaries? Other news commentary. So that was one of the things from early on. We don't want to become part of the problem. We don't try to get every subscriber or every click. We want to put accurate information out that resonates with the audience. Accurate information is the key, and nothing gets done if you can't keep calm. And we can't fix it if we can't keep calm. So our goal is to just keep relaying calm, accurate information. It's not going to change. Question for Belle. Can you talk about Ziklag? The town or the conservative religious group? I'm guessing this is about the political group. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about them, other than the obvious of what's been talked about. I don't know a lot. I'm curious about something Bo mentioned off the cuff some time ago. Floridians he spoke about wearing hoodies if the temp drops below 70. Now with Belle sporting the flannels, I just don't get it. I'm born and raised near Atlanta, and I walk around in short sleeves unless the temperature drops below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe I'm hot-blooded, but I have seen this in Florida myself. Yes, as I sit here in my sweatshirt. It is a Florida thing. But the other part is when we built this, we added a lot more insulation for soundproofing, and it actually gets really chilly in here. I'm often wearing layers, and I often have to wear long sleeve because when I am working with the horses or I'm moving hay or I'm doing other things, it gets itchy. And I'm also, this is the only skin I have. I live in Florida, so long sleeves still protect my skin. So, yeah, but a lot of them have moved up here because it's cold. This is a two-part question. One, is there community gardening footage we can see? Okay, So I actually found a box of discs, and I found like 3 discs that have gardening footage on them. I was super excited. So I took them out because everybody's been asking, and it was important to Bo. He really did want to do that. So I've put it aside and labeled it. And I don't think we'll get to it before the election, but it was really cool. I did find some. So I guess still be patient. But that was exciting, and I did set it aside. And how is Bo doing? Bo is doing much better. Bo is feeling much better. He's relaxing. I don't think he finished the book yet, but he's doing much better. And yeah, he's going to learn to shave a horse. So there's that. And question for Belle. Bo told us about meeting you in the photo studio and what his impressions were. Can you tell us your side of the story? Yeah, so I was not ready for that. I was busy living my life. I was not looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking to date anybody. I was just doing my thing, living my life. And I might have been a little rude. But also in my defense, I am kind of one of those people that I've been told, like, that guy was flirting with you. And I'm more of like, sir, are you lost? Like, I have no clue when somebody's like flirting with me. And I am genuinely just a nice, talkative person. So I wasn't ready for that. So here I am, though, 5 kids later and a lot of years. And he's a sneaky one. I didn't see that coming. But the story's totally true. I wouldn't change anything about it because it's exactly how it happened. I'm a very forward person, and yeah. So, okay, and that looks like it's it. So there you go. A little more information and a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. Y'all have a good day.